This week on the South Solarium, they added windows on all 3 floors. They have a protective covering for the inside construction site. If I look in from the other side, I can see them working on things in the ceiling, piping for heating and air conditioning, insulation, etc. I didn't think there were any more walls to create on the south side, but delivery trucks keep showing up, even double-decker, and they offload it. Someone inside signs for it, and they cart it away. One morning I awoke to the sound of scaffolding being dismantled. There are a lot of pieces. This is going to take a while. This day, Skytrack was rumbling below the balcony with a full dumpster of trash. It's still a little uneven and hard to maneuver, but he doesn't drop much. Soon he returns with an empty one. They'll fill it up quickly. There is still scaffolding on the west side of the assisted living building. These guys are working up near the atrium where it connects. Skytrack is making a delivery to the rooftop, so guys on the scaffolding have to help unload the heavy buckets. Progress on the south retaining wall is going well. I feel a little sorry for the guy mixing concrete in the metal bin. There's 2 or 3 bricklayers, and he works as fast as he can, but they seem to get ahead of him. One morning a truck arrived, and I heard the clang of copper pipes as they loaded the rack on top. And before I could even get coffee made, they had driven away. Walking up the south side of the street, I catch all the different levels of the scaffolding busy putting stucco on the building. When I zoom in, it looks like heavy frosting being applied to the painted wall. This doorway remains gray. We'll have to see what they do with it. Maybe the darker stucco will accent this area. Another day, the scaffolding is gone, and you can see the profile of the building and the setback areas of the lighter stucco. In front of the assisted living atrium, we now have sidewalks and a circle drive to drop off or pick up residents. Back side of the assisted living tall atrium wall is finally getting a coat of gray stucco. Wonder what the final color will be. Looking across to the North IL building, the white styrofoam is slowly creeping across the facade. There has been some discussion about what color the building is. When I say pink, some people laugh, but I'm afraid other people get heartburn because they think it's more in the family of tan. I decided to do a test. I picked up rocks that are cream, golden, tan, taupe, and I held them against the entrance wall into Alta Vista. Then I took the same rocks and held them against the stucco in full sun in front of the covered parking area. Finally, I found the lightest wall near one of the entrances to the main Alta Vista building. So change your color focus for a moment, and we'll do another test. I gathered another handful of rosy, peachy, pinky colors and laid them against the wall just inside of Alta Vista. Again, I held them up against the full sun wall in front of the covered parking area. Finally, I held them against the lightest wall near the door into the Alta Vista building. I kind of think I've made my case for pink. Don wanted to get in on the action, so he had me take a picture of this empty robin's egg shell. On the north side IL building, this guy is doing wallboard. Now he's got to cut out the doorway. Below the casita wall, these guys are putting up framing for guttering. I may have muttered about water balloons and how much fun that would be. They may have muttered, "We're going to tell Oscar." Curbs and gutters have been installed around the curve and down the length of the north side. But as I look farther, there is still more framing for more curbs and guttering around the big transformer box. Unfortunately, as we walked along the C&M fence, we could see that the transformer box was still not completely installed. Oscar said there were some changes that needed to be made, and now he waits again. Little yellow fire hydrant at the corner of the IL building now has fancy curbing and guttering. And maybe a dress? P&M finally showed up and had a big roll of wire and a cherry picker truck and lots of guys digging and figuring out what goes where. Across in the C&M lot was another truck with guys up high ready to hook things up. It took 2 days, but I think they finally got the transformer box hooked up. Now they can continue working on the wood shop, the dining room, the fitness classroom, and get those fire sprinklers tested. This past weekend was Mother's Day, so we're going to talk about flowers. My sister in Kentucky sent me pictures of these glorious hibiscus out on her front porch. Tulips were coming up and waving gently in the breeze. She has a bunny, and I've seen it nibble on her flowers before. Then they had a light snow, and everything looked a little wilted. My friend Barry in the north part of Albuquerque decided to put hydrangeas in her pots, pink and white in some areas, beautiful blue in other areas. I wonder if this is too heavy for me to put on my cart. She told me this is a Rosa Hansa, an antique rose, and it smells delightful. If I remember correctly, this is clematis. It climbs up this black metal frame and just covers the wall. Her husband Kelly took this picture of Bleeding Heart in the sunshine. My friend Kay gets credit for the most abundant basket in her backyard. She lives on the west side. Her first rose was multicolored and regal. I took this picture in Ruidoso, standing on the sidewalk, looking up at the vibrant blue sky. On our LVL campus, bushes are coming to life. This one is full of tiny quarter-size white flowers. Byingtons are out enjoying the weather with their 2 sweet dogs. Rose Brigade spent a couple weeks working around campus, and now we are enjoying the fruits of their hard labors. Antique pink roses adorn both sides of the entrance sign. Walking toward door 3, I noticed some rosebuds popping out against the window. Another day, there were flowers opened up. End of the week, flowers had exploded. Some were almost as big as bread and butter plates. The Rose Brigade gets big kudos.
Important thing they're doing this week here at Independent Living is working on the retaining wall and the curbing. They're backfilling and tamping it down, and they're regrading the areas where the street is going to be. Otherwise, along the north wall here, the watchword is monotony. Everything looks about the same as last week. There's still no white flooring on the upper level patios, and no sign of white insulation. Today is Wednesday, May 12th. It's 9:45 a.m. It's 60 degrees and it's sunny. As we come around the east end here, the key word again is monotony. The most interesting thing to look for is Wilbur's shadow. The common areas look just about the same as they did last week, so there's really not much here to look for. So let's go on to the south side. And here, Eureka! Guess what? What a surprise! The hatch is open. I think they're just trying to let in light. So look at all the scaffolding. Almost the entire south side is covered by scaffolding now, although they really haven't made much progress on the actual insulation itself. It's very little progress from last week. So let's look ahead to the west end here. This is going to be really exciting. Black Monster is kind of quiet. I kind of think he's trying to hatch some kind of a plot to create some mischief. And again, here on the west end, that upper right-hand corner has no yellow. First, we've had a frequent visitor here recently. I call her Wilma. I think she's a she, and she's not wearing a mask. So this is a reminder to residents. She's cute and looks cuddly and is nimble, but she's still a wild animal. Coyote attacks are rare, but do occur. If you encounter her, stay still, back away, and try not to be closer than about 30 yards away. She shows signs of being injured in the left rear leg, and this drought is a tough time for animals, so please beware. So let's check in with Ginny on Mars. Ginny can fly at 4.5 miles per hour, but only 150 meters to 200 meters a day. Perseverance moves at 0.01 miles per hour, but she can keep going all day long. So it's an example of a tortoise and a hare. Note, Ginny's testing her flight envelope by flying to 10 meters altitude. That's nearly the limit of her altimeter sensing range. Back on Earth, let's look at some new curbing. Although it's a week or so old, lots more has been done since. Here at Assisted Living, they're stuffing wallboard into the top level there, and we can see along the south wall here that all the scaffolding is gone, and they've actually cleaned up a little bit. Along the right-hand side, you can see that the retaining wall is almost finished and has been almost completely backfilled. The lobby area looks pretty much the same as last week, so we'll skip it and jump over to the back side. And here we can see that my favorite wall has been stuccoed and appears to be mostly done. On the east end of the north wall, you can see on the top level there are a couple of guys working, I guess touching up the stuccoing. But as we move along toward the west end, we're back to monotony again with the yellow stuff still there. As we come around the west end, we can see that the crane is still working on a big pile of wallboard still to go in. And again, our last look is down the retaining wall, and we can see that there's still some backfilling to do, and they seem to have to put some capstones on all of the tops of the retaining wall. See you next week.